disadvantaged business enterprises. And I wonder who is really disadvantaged in their eyes. Of course it's them. We heard Joy Reid the other day, like, I'm so oppressed and victimized. You're like, aren't you a multimillionaire? Crazy.
The very simple thing to do right now is pass the continuing resolution. And let me point out, all those folks you just referenced have done that. They did it 13 times during the Biden administration in the previous 4 years.
All right, Donna, what do you think about the government shutdown?
Come on, Nun. Billions in DEI money now paused. Hopefully soon to be canceled. You got to pause it before you can cancel it and rescind it. But here's what we see is being reported over in Chicago, and it's coming against these two individuals, Mayor Brandon Johnson and PB&J Pritzker, this fellow over here as well. And so now $2.1 billion is going to be held in hiatus. Of course, this is the Democrats' shutdown. They want that money and other monies to go to illegal aliens and other really unnecessary, wasteful, fraudulent, abusive practices, including DEI. And here's one of the most recent actions from this guy, Russ, Vought, the Grim Reaper of the budget. And here is what they are reporting. They say Chicago became the second major city to have billions of dollars in federal funding and infrastructure pause today. Now, Trump is rooting out DEI contracts amidst the government shutdown. $2.1 billion in Chicago infrastructure projects, specifically the Red Line extension and the Red and Purple modernization project, they've been put on hold. We want to make sure this money is not going to race-based contracting. Yeah, only certain ethnicities can get those contracts. And if you're white or Asian, don't even try, okay? Don't even play until now. Now maybe they're going to have to be actually fair. So Russ Vought is not playing around. The move came after New York had $18 billion for them also paused, frozen earlier this week so that the Department of Transportation could review whether any of its funding was going to unlawful DEI initiatives. Now, Illinois, like New York, is well known to promote race and sex-based contracting. And if you're white, you're in big trouble. And if you're a white male, get out of here. And other racial preferences as a public policy. The Transportation Department said they were citing a PBS report that the Chicago Transit Authority spent roughly a fifth of its budget on firms for DBEs, okay, so-called disadvantaged business enterprises. And I wonder who is really disadvantaged in their eyes. Of course it's them. We heard Joy Reid the other day, like, I'm so oppressed and victimized. You're like, aren't you a multimillionaire? Crazy. And here's more. The American people don't care what race or gender or your construction workers are, or your pipe fitters, or your electricians. Secretary Duffy over at the Department of Transportation is committed to conducting these reviews as fast as possible so that reimbursements can move forward. But unfortunately, Chucky Schumer and Hakeem Sombrero Jeffries, their decision to shut down the government is affecting our resources everywhere for everyone. And so the money has to just stop flowing until we figure out where it's going. And until the spending improves in America, these things need to continue to happen. And where is this money going? It's like, why is all that DEI money just now being set in hiatus? Like, it's frozen. You got $18 billion frozen for Sanctuary New York. You got another $2 billion frozen for Sanctuary Chicago. How about you just reapportion that money over to, you know, the U.S. military, the Border Patrol, the air traffic controllers that everybody's freaking out about because the Congress wants to make sure they get paid, but not the actual essential people in America. And here is JD Vance reposting what Caroline Leavitt is confirming for everybody. NBC said, raise your hand if your government plan would provide coverage for illegal aliens. And we played this yesterday. We want to play it one more time, 10 seconds, because it is so indicative of who they are and what their party stands for.
Raise your hand if your government plan would provide coverage for undocumented immigrants.
Everyone, okay, because they all love illegals. Bernie, Biden, Yang, and the rest of them, okay, all very excited. Is that Stinky Eric Swalwell? Was he up there too? Oh my goodness, that guy. All right, so they are all obviously in favor of it. JD Vance says, note that many of the people raising their hands are current Senate Democrats who voted to shut down the government. They're in the position where they can end all this, but they would prefer the money to go back to illegals. And they're trying all these stupid games like, well, hold on a minute, Rob. We're not allowing them to sign up for Medicare and Medicaid and get health insurance premiums in documented form and fashion. It's like, okay, nobody's making that argument that they get to go and sign up and that you give them official, hi, amigo, welcome to America. Here's your government stamp, Biden stamp, health insurance card. That's not what we're talking about. But are they getting medical treatment? The answer is yes, obviously, because they're here. Millions. So who is paying for that treatment? Are they all paying for it themselves? Are they all insured by the healthcare companies? We don't think so. They're going and they're getting state healthcare. And then the states are getting reimbursed by the Democrats in Congress. That's funding funding the sanctuary cities. If they want to fund their own sanctuary cities, well, they can do that. I mean, it's their money. It's California's money, but they don't get our money to have illegals come fill their cities so that then they can have a new census and reapportion more governmental and congressional power into their jurisdictions. The grift and the scam is over, and they're in the Senate, and if they want to vote to open up the government, they can do it quite quickly. Now, Mike Johnson was also out this morning. Here's a little exchange, and he's saying, look, even if there is a compromise over in the Senate, even if they come out with some extension or, add in a little something, negotiate this, that, and the other thing, it still has to come back to the House, and the House still has to approve it and stamp off on that. And will Mike Johnson do that? Doesn't sound like it.
There's some talks right now that could be going on in the Senate floor. Democrats, not so much at the leadership level, but kind of within the ranks of the Democratic Party, having conversations with their Republican colleagues about a path forward. If they reach a bipartisan agreement, negotiation is successful, they vote on something over there, would you put it up for a vote over here?
Well, the House has done its job. All they have to do is pass the clean continuing resolution, and then we can talk about all this substance. But, I can't project the future of what would happen. All the devil's always in the details. But the very simple thing to do right now is pass the continuing resolution. And let me point out, all those folks you just referenced have done that. They did it 13 times during the Biden administration in the previous 4 years. What we're doing right now is always done. It's always conventional. Republicans never voted to shut the government down during the Biden administration, even when we were in the minority. We're asking them to do the right thing, the conventional thing. That's all this is.
I just want to be clear here. Are you ruling out putting up a compromise on the floor for a vote if the Senate reaches one?
I am right now because we sent a clean continuing resolution. There's no Republican priorities in the CR at all. It's a very neutral, simple, straightforward status quo, which means I don't have anything to negotiate. The Republicans in the Senate don't have anything to offer on the table. In other words, they can't go to the Democrats and say, you know what, we'll pull this Republican priority out of it because it doesn't exist. This is existing, by the way, Biden-era policies and spending levels that they themselves put into law. We're just asking them to continue it for 7 weeks. We're in the right here, and they're responsible for closing the government down.
That's right, Mike. Thank you for explaining that for the people in the media who can't figure it out. Here is what John Thune was saying Senate Democrats are going to have a fourth opportunity today to vote on the clean, nonpartisan CR that will reopen the federal government. But instead of this pointless and harmful shutdown, we should resume our work, moving the appropriations bill through regular order. That's what he posted. Here's what he said.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Speaker is right. We have an opportunity to pick up a House-passed bill that, if it passes the Senate, will be sent to the White House. The President will sign it, and the government will reopen. It's that simple and that straightforward. And that's all we're talking about here.
Thank you, John.
All we need is a handful more Democrats. We have a majority of senators, 55 senators, have already voted for this clean, short-term, nonpartisan CR. As the Speaker said, no policy riders, no gimmicks, nothing in here that benefits Republicans. This is a straight-up 7-week funding resolution, and we need it to keep the government open. And if we don't keep the government open, you'll have all the things that the Speaker just alluded to, all the Americans who are adversely impacted by this government shutdown. Now, this is something, as you all know, as recently as the last administration, during the Biden administration, when the Democrats have the majority here in the United States Senate, the Democrats on 13 different occasions voted for this, a short-term continuing resolution. Now, I have to ask, what's changed?
Trump.
What's different about this?
Trump.
What's different is who's in the White House.
Trump.
That's what it is about. It's all about President Trump and the Democrats needing to pick a fight to satisfy their far-left political base, far-left activist organizations who are the tail wagging the dog right now.
Exactly right. They're a bunch of maniacs over there who don't even care about their own countrymen. They care about other people, countrymen. And let's see how concerned the White House is about this. Do you think that they're panicking and quivering in their boots? Doesn't look like it. Here is what Elizabeth Troutman Mitchell posted over there. She said the VP just came over to the briefing room and JD brought his aunt and uncle into the podium. He's like, yeah, no, shut down. There's nobody in there. It's like, it's shut down, so whatever. Government's shut down. Yeah, let's go around for a tour. We've got nothing going on. Here it is.
All right, Donna. What do you think about the government shutdown?
Come on, Nun.
Not in this crowd.
I can't say it, not in this room.
Good answer. Yeah, let's get these guys out of here before they say something too controversial. All right. See you all. Thank you, guys. Is there any room for compromise?
All right, so that lady looks like she could really solve some serious problems right there. I'm not joking about that. Kind of what you need, Just send her into the Judiciary Committee and just have her sit Chuck Grassley and Dick Durbin down and just say, you listen to me. Man, we get some real stuff done. All right, so shout out to Aunt JD Vance. And we also had add more. The president posted this one of this comedian called Sean Farash in a beautiful sombrero and an amazing shirt. And here's what the president posted, because Trump has a sense of humor. He's not offended by every single thing like Hakeem, Abby Phillips, and the rest of them. Little Friday fun. Here's this guy.
Hola, mi fellow Americanos.
Hola.
Bienvenidos al cierre de Schumer. That means welcome to the Schumer shutdown.
Yep.
We call it the Schumer siesta, right? It's the Schumer siesta. He put the government on siesta, crying Chuck and El Hakimo Jefe Jeffries. We used to call him Dollar Store Obama till we realized he's worth far less than $1. But they put the government on siesta to give illegal aliens your health care. We're not going to let it happen. I looked at both of them. I said, we're not going to let it happen. It's no bueno. I said, it's no bueno. They begged me. They said, but senor, por favor, please give illegal aliens the health care. I said, we're not going to do it. We're never going to do it. It's not going to happen. And they're also very upset about our big, beautiful sombreros. You look at them. These are the greatest sombreros the world has ever seen. We really have the best sombreros. Everybody wants one except Crying Chuck and El Hakimo Jefe Jeffries. They don't want one, but they're going to wear one when all of a sudden we're going to end the siesta. We're going to reopen the government, and we will not give in to the demands of Chuck and El Jefe. We're not going to do that.
Not going to do it.
Thank you. God bless you. Dios lo bendiga. And God bless America. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
Gracias, Senor Presidente. We appreciate that one from President Trump himself. Is that going to be a racist attack on something or other? It's called comedy. It's hilarious. Shout out to that guy. His name is Sean Farash, and it's a great hat. Can't deny it.